My dad's career has been here in that little window. Right there. He sits right up there and commands the ship. Isn't that awesome? All over the planet. So proud.
How do I look?
You look great. So, Dad, how are you feeling as you're coming into retirement?
Good.
How are you really feeling?
Good. It's an adventure. There's a lot of unknown,
38 years.
but I'm looking forward to it. It's time. It's time for a change.
Yeah. If you were going to do it over again, do anything different?
That's hard to say. You pay a price for being gone a lot, and so that lends perspective. But when I embarked on this, I wanted to do it all my life, and I never considered doing anything else. Even when the going got tough, and I thought it wasn't going to happen, I never considered anything else. So if you'd have told me about this or that difficulties, I would have done it anyway.
How old were you when you started dreaming about flying?
3.
3.
Mm-hmm. By the time I learned to fly, I'd studied it enough to where it's one of the few complex subject matters that I ever attempted that came easy for me. Because I'd really, without realizing it, been studying it all my life.
Now, you didn't go the normal route for becoming a pilot, right? Most went military?
In the day, it's pretty common to find people nowadays that went a civilian route and paid for their own training. It's not unusual.
Was it hard to do the civilian route?
It was challenging, not as hard as it is to do today. It's much more expensive today.
Why did you first get into flying? What did you love about it?
Everything. Just mainly the concept of flight and flying and soaring, but the machinery, I found it fascinating. I found the physics of it, the mechanics of it. I didn't have to motivate myself to learn those details. Very often people will be attracted to, say, maybe the soaring and the flying, but they don't care a thing about why it happens or how the machine functions. And I just was naturally interested in all of that.
What was one of your most memorable early flights?
My first flight, I was in the 5th grade, and I went up in my uncle's plane, my Uncle Jerry, and we went on a little mission trip that he was doing to a boys and girls camp. And then years went by, and then I went up with another uncle, Uncle Vance. And then years went by before I got the opportunity to start pursuing formal lessons, which I did on my own with no help.
What was that like for you?
It was easy. I had earned X amount of dollars working as a bellhop one summer, and then I got the opportunity to start taking flying lessons. I didn't mind sinking every dime into it. I didn't. There was some money left over, but I didn't. Years later, after I'd made the commitment and was actually obviously going to pursue it, my dad did come alongside and help me, education-wise. So he stepped up too, and I owe him a debt of gratitude for his help.
In most of your early years, you didn't have any support or encouragement.
There weren't any other people flying for a living in my family.
How did you stay motivated when you're living a crazy dream of wanting to fly and everyone around you is not supporting?
For me personally, because there's always dark days and you run out of resources and you run out of options. And for me, the secret to my success was don't quit. I didn't have an alternative. I didn't have another port in the storm, a backup, which was fortunate. I just didn't quit. There were times where I was kind of stopped and I felt like I wasn't going anywhere, but I just didn't quit. When it seemed like I wasn't moving forward, then I just held my ground until the next move came along. And it did.
So you just came off a trip.
I just got back from Hong Kong, which you came with me.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that was how many hours were we on the ground?
About 40.
40 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And so how do you feel now?
I feel like I've been up all night, which I have.
People don't know what you go through. If you were to share or expose like what a pilot really is.
There's a irrefutable biological fact in nature, and that is your natural circadian bodily rhythms. In this case, we're initially talking about sleep. And when you interrupt that, NASA studies have shown that when you stay up all night for one night, just one night, it takes 2 weeks to recover from that. That's just someone going to their youth group all-nighter in the gymnasium. Now, when you're young, you sleep in the next day, the pain of fatigue goes away, and you think, oh, I'm home free. But in reality, they find that to get rid of all those effects takes 2 weeks. The older you get, you do not come back from it as quickly. You do recover, but the NASA studies show that you need a day of recovery for each hour of time zone change. So from where we live, Hong Kong is 10 to 11 hours. So to get completely recovered, you need 10 to 11 days off to be normal again. And that never happens for the airline pilot.
How do you deal with that?
There are tricks. You're supposed to sleep when you feel sleepy, which means when you're home and on your days off, you're dozing or sleeping or skipping chores or responsibilities and that normally would get done that don't get done because you're either fatigued or taking a nap or something like that. And very often, if you skip those naps, then your recovery is extended. It takes longer. But like I say, the younger you are, the more you can push that envelope and ignore those symptoms.
It's taking a toll on your health, huh?
I'm healthy and I'm grateful, but I can tell that it has but negative potential for your health. And I take it on faith and God's grace that I'm healthy. I feel healthy.
Is there anything you're looking forward to in retirement?
Oh, absolutely. I love the adventure of travel, but I've never been able to do it for myself. And that may be in my future, but the first goal is to get up for an extended period of time at home and not have to grab a bag and go out the door. I'm looking forward to that. And then, when I get all rested up, I'm sure the wanderlust urge will come back and I'll want to maybe go travel and explore for me. Go to a foreign country and get to actually see it rather than just sleep on a layover to get prepared to make the return crossing.
So you're saying pilots and flight attendants, they don't really get to travel and see the world that much, in essence?
And that was true in my case. A lot of them do see the world. They do, when they're younger, cowboy up, pack their bags again, and take off. I just wasn't one of those. It turned out I really now understand I am a homebody. And home and family are the most important things to me. And in some ways that suffered for me because I wasn't there. And
Do you think families of pilots suffer?
I'm sorry?
Do you think families of pilots suffer?
It depends on how it's handled. It can be a very beneficial thing for all members of the family. But it's how it's navigated, it's how all parties are participate and deal with it. It has its challenges, and in a family, all members of the family have their roles to play, and sometimes they have a support role. Even the children have a support, occasionally, position to play, but especially the spouse. So it's unique in that way.
Where do you most want to see now that once you get all rested?
I would like to spend some time in Italy. I would like to spend some time in Germany. And one of my favorite cities is London. Who knows? And I'm very curious about Spain. That's Barcelona. I've never been there, so there's plenty of the world I haven't seen. Now on to the next dream. I feel like I'm just starting. I look in the mirror and I'm a little shocked. Who is that? Because it doesn't match how I feel, but
Yeah.
that's okay. I hope to handle that gracefully. I've been blessed that I got to pursue my dream. And it had a lot of fruit in it. It had a lot of challenges in it. But not many people get that opportunity.